Hi, welcome back to Stronger with Rakesh Shukla. And hopefully, we'll take another step today to make you stronger emotionally, physically, and mentally. And most of the time, they're pretty much the same thing. For today, let me first ask you this question: if you look back at your life from your childhood to now, what do you think is the most devastating pain, the memory of the worst pain that you ever had? Take a moment and think about that pain. Was it the pain of breaking your ankle or breaking a bone or breaking your shoulder that you fell from somewhere? Pain which is physical in nature? Or was it pain which is emotional? The slight of one of your siblings, the slight of your mother or father, that first girl and boy you loved and they just disappeared? Which one of these two pains is the worst pain? And I'm just trying to reiterate the point or make the point that we focus so much on physical pain as a society, as people, and we focus or disregard the emotional pain. Have you ever seen that anybody call up your office saying that my girlfriend left me, so I'm not coming to work because I'm hurting? Do you think this is a legitimate reason? Do you think any manager will agree to that reason? But on the other hand, if somebody says I'm not done my homework or I cannot come to work because I got fever or I hurt my leg, that is a very legitimate reason. And the fact is that the physical pain that you hurt your leg now, or you had a really bad fall when you were a kid, it's just a faint memory. I mean, it will heal, and chances are after that you don't even remember the severity of the pain. But emotional pain is very different. That pain kind of lives with you for the rest of your life. And not just lives with you, it shapes you. If I were to ask you to remember that slight of your parents that you felt very strongly about, or when your spouse left, or when your girlfriend or your boyfriend left, chances are you will still choke, you will still palpitate, you will still start sweating. It's taken me a lot of time to be so dispassionate about some of these things, but the fact is that they have shaped my life. So emotional pain is a very real thing. It has a very real physical response as well. But somehow like I said, it's not a legitimate reason, to the point that emotional pain becomes an illegitimate pain because you cannot talk about it to others. I'm not talking about there's a breakup and girlfriends are talking about it, or the men are talking about it for a little while, and even then, after a little while, once the curiosity has been kind of satisfied, they go their own ways and you're left with that pain by yourself. So that sharing is also not a legitimate sharing, really, and nobody really can understand your pain that way anyway. My point is that this pain becomes illegitimate. The only way you can handle this pain is to hide it. So the biggest hurts of your life, from your childhood to now, they are pretty much all emotional, and pretty much all of them are illegitimate. And they're illegitimate not only because you've made them illegitimate, they're illegitimate also because by nature, in the social moral context, they might be illegitimate. What is to say that you can only love the woman that you got married to, or the man you got married to? Maybe the biggest love of your life was something else. But it is not something that you can talk about. By nature, a lot of this conversation is illegitimate. You go to offices, they're full of this unsaid conversation, this pain, this angst, which is there right under the surface, but nobody ever can openly speak about those things. So it is insidious, and by nature, emotional pain is illegitimate, and that makes it very dangerous, because it is this behavior that changes your outlook towards life. So what am I saying? I'm not saying that suddenly all the HR personnel will become open to the fact that somebody says that I've had a breakup and therefore I don't want to come to work for 2 days, and I don't assume that that's going to happen anytime soon or that it should happen. But what I'm saying is that there has to be a conversation in offices, in the public discourse, as between friends, within the family, about what emotional pain is. The pain that I felt the most, I could not even speak to anybody about. I was telling you about my growing up years. The fact is that 5 years back, I lost my company. I've said it many times, I've lost my shirt literally. I was crores of rupees in debt. It came in the papers, it was frontline news. My friends knew about it, but they all disappeared. The people I could have gone to for help or tell them or share this with my parents, for 3 years I chose never to explain it to them or to talk to them about it. Because I did not want to feel that they were right in their disregard towards my life decisions, and so on and so forth. So the illegitimacy of this pain is a real issue, and the first thing that we should be able to do is recognize pain in ourselves and not disregard it. So we need to kind of make it less illegitimate. Today I am much more in touch with my reality and my emotional state. So if I feel bad about something, if something hurts me, I have the capability to sort it out in my head and figure out that this is what is causing me pain. Okay, and I suggest that you start evaluating yourselves for what causes grief and what causes pain. If you don't understand the cause of that pain and that grief, you will forever be shaped by these past pains. You never really truly want to get going and move forward. And a lot in your life actually depends on not carrying that baggage. Equally, we must be able to find it in ourselves to recognize this pain in others. I'm not saying that I'm the most empathetic person, and at a deeper level perhaps I don't feel and associate with people that way, but I have a great capacity to understand where they're coming from and what is causing this pain. Because if I can participate in that process of discovering that pain, I can perhaps allow people to see clearly what is causing that pain and how to minimize that pain. So that's not a rocket science. Having empathy is not a rocket science. And understanding others and participating at a deeper level, not just conversationally, but to understand and how to isolate and kind of manage that pain is a key skill. It's a key life skill. And as friends, as colleagues, as managers, as parents, as children, it is something that is really key for not only our health but for the health of people around us, because those things that we say and do are going to be with people for the rest of their lives. So learn to recognize emotional pain in yourself and in others, and hopefully do something about it. And when you do that, the one thing that you get is respect. You will start respecting yourself more, and you will start respecting other people more. That is priceless. Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about emotional pain for a bit, and before I go, the one last example and the one last instance that I would like to throw at you is how it molds people. You look at the biggest prize fighters, you look at some of the most successful businessmen, you look at the worst kind of criminals, serial killers. They have all this in common. All of them have this in common. Their sense of emotional pain was overwhelming. They were overwhelmed with it. And some people could manage it and channelize into something more productive, and some people became destructive with that. But But emotional pain, unless it is addressed, unless it is channelized, unless it is used, can be a very debilitating force. And I've seen some of the people I love the most not being able to handle it. And I kept telling them I can help, or they could get help from outside, from some other people, to be able to manage their pain. But they chose not to. They chose not to, and it kind of just went south. I lost all those people, and I'm very sorry for that. It's, learn to respect yourself, learn to recognize it in others, and try to make an effort to address it if you can. It is going to change lives around you, lives for the better, right? Again, if there is something you want to talk about, let's get into that conversation. Send me a message, make me a comment. All these channels are actually for us to converse. We are not sitting face to face in a one-to-one conversation, but it can be a one-to-one conversation if you just write back to me, and we'll talk about those things. All right. So stay strong. You only have yourself. You only have yourself to win the battle of life for the rest of your life. So stay strong.